Advertising industry veteran Pratap Bose's agency Social Street recently completed a year. He spoke to Pradyuman Maheshwari on the journey so far and the road, well, the street ahead. Check out the conversation.
Welcome to Branch and Pratap.
Thank you.
1 year of the Social Street, June 22nd to now. How has been the journey?
When we set out, we had big ambitions, but I don't think we expected to do so well in 1 year. So it's been a great ride, and I think we've put a impressive list of clients together in the last 1 year, and I've done some really good work.
And how would you define this so well?
Well, the fact that we have already hired about 150 people. We opened Bombay on the 22nd of June last year, then opened our Bangalore office, and then opened our Delhi office, which is our 3 key offices.
And 3 very fancy offices, I must say.
Yeah, and about 135 clients signed on, big, small and medium. I know we haven't made too much noise in the media about which client we won, but I think that was intentional. I don't think we want to sit on the top of our roofs and trumpet all our wins like most agencies do, because you're a new setup as well. So the problem with India is the minute you announce a win, then you have 5 competitive agencies going to the same client.
You started off with a full service agency with, of course, some areas not covered, which you finally did look at with the creative head coming in.
Yeah, so I think contrary to popular belief, a chief creative officer is not necessarily required in the creative department. You might find that strange in me saying that. As traditionally known as creative, I mean making television commercials or print ads and things like that. I think we brought in a team from various agencies to fulfill the gap where we thought that if you're going to be a really creative powerhouse in the area of communication, barring the traditional stuff, you still need a chief creative officer to run that. The traditional advertising business in terms of television and print creative is not our focus right now.
But does it bracket you under, as a BTL agency?
I don't care who brackets me in whichever way. At the end of the day, I would run a successful and profitable business. So it doesn't bother me. I think the media is also to blame in this. I think everyone thinks a creative agency is the be all and end all. But I certainly don't think so.
So are you saying that advertising business, you don't really make money on the traditional creative stuff, and possibly these are the areas which get you the money? Given the fact that various others also are stressing a fair bit, you did that with fair amount of success at DD Mudra.
Right. No, I think obviously the margins on which you, on the non-traditional side of the business, if I were to call it, are always higher than typically advertising, because most of advertising today is on a retainership, right? And unless you've got a really huge global account like Ogilvy has Vodafone or something like that, where you get shitloads of money, it isn't really profitable unless you have the scale. So barring the top, I would say 4 or 5 agencies, I think the rest are pretty much stressed any which way on the numbers.
And in this 1 year journey, you have connected with one of the erstwhile giants, Rediffusion.
Yeah, I think the Rediffusion deal was a good deal for both. I think it's a win-win for both, where we really run everything in the communication space, leave them to do their creative job, which they know best. They've got a large roster of clients, and not just across Rediff, it includes Everest and Wonderman as well. And I think that's a partnership that's going on well, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship to both.
But would you ever look at selling out or parting with some equity?
So I'm not averse to that, but there's a point in time when you think about that. Right now, we're not thinking about that at all.
Where do you see yourself headed, say, a year from now?
So that's the beauty of being on your own, right? I think we've set an agenda for what we want to be and what are the areas we're going to get into. I'm not naming all of them because it's quite a large list. But having said that, if an opportunity does present itself in, let's say, the B2C space, for example, I would grab it with, everything that I've got to make it happen, because at the end of the day, I think we are entrepreneurs at heart, right? We come from a background that is the communication business, but I think all of us are also matured over time. So we would be acquiring, we would be getting into more joint ventures, more collaborations with other agencies, both internationally as well as Indian. That's all part of the plan, but all in time, as I would say that.
Any particular direction that you're looking at in terms of international?
Yeah, so I think we're talking to a couple of international firms in the whole area of brand activation, events, promotions, digital. We're already collaborating with a few. We've got our first assignments in Indonesia last month, fairly large assignments. So it will gradually move towards that, is my sense. But for me, the key really is the whole platform of data, analytics, and digital and content, because that's really for us. Or if I rephrase it, it's entertainment, content, digital is really the space that I would see myself getting into.
When you started out, you didn't have a CCO. Now in Deepak Singh, you have one. Are there any other heads that you are looking at appointing in the next year or so?
Yeah, I think we're looking at senior positions in the digital space for one. I think in the whole area of account planning and activation planning, we're looking at senior people resources, because that's really what we stand for. And I think Deepak's team will also grow.
And you are looking at getting into traditional media in a bigger way?
So traditional media, I'm already in. I run the media planning and business, media planning and buying business for a few clients that we have. The intent is never to compete with, the Lodestars or the Group M's or the Madisons of the world. I think media is very important, because given that we have all the tools, we have all the databases and subscribe to all of them, media is really the glue that binds all of our other entities. And for that reason, media is very important.
When you started out, there was a large number of people who came in from DDB Mudra. And there's no denying that. Right? What is your relationship with DDB Mudra now?
I think all of them were great friends. And I wear my heart on my sleeve on this one. I probably had one of the best times in my life for the first 3 or 4 years with DDB when I started it all off, and with Bobby coming in. Actually, Bobby was before me, but the relationship that we formed, the way Max was formed. I know Kansas just finished, but DDB Mudra was Indian Agency of the Year in 2010 and 2011, 2 successive years, from zero, literally. Even toppled Ogilvy at the Goa Fest. But I think I got out at the right time. It was a decision which I thought was the right decision at that point in time.
There are rumors that Madhukar may be moving out next year, so wouldn't it have been nicer if he was still there?
When I think of it, no, not now. Yeah, but is there an option to merge Social Street and take over Mudra? Why not?
And you did fairly well at Goa Fest, but how would you rate your performance awards-wise?
So I think awards is really wait and watch. I can tell you we'll do spectacularly well next year. You must understand that in 9 months of starting up, it's very difficult to have a large body of work, right?
You know the game very well.
I do. I know the game. If my job was only to win Agency of the Year and do nothing else, I'll win it hands down.